I was always very aware of being a first-gen student. I still recall probably in my first week at UC Davis, I was in an English class. And while we were waiting for the professor to arrive, students were talking about how they'd been in Europe, one student had been on a safari in Africa. Their parents worked on campus or were professors at other universities. And I sat there thinking, my goodness, I've left the state, but barely to Arizona. And so thinking, I'm really limited in my experience here. But figured, okay, that's just how it's going to be. And that was a perfect example of how my entire time at UC Davis as an undergrad sort of transpired. Knowing that I was missing elements that other students had. There was the immense pressure to succeed. And although my family was really supportive, and I could not have done any of this without them because they were so incredibly supportive, the pressure was immense. It wasn't just my family, my immediate family, it was cousins and aunts and uncles who had this expectation to be able to show the younger kids, look, your older cousin's been able to accomplish this. This is a roadmap for you. I had already had the pressure not only was I a first-generation college student, but I was first-generation American. So my family was learning English as I was learning English. And I had the responsibility of doing really important things like federal paperwork or school information that I had to do for myself, as much as filling out my own applications and not knowing that people could help with that. Any mistake I made was catastrophic. It wouldn't just be my mistake. It would be my parents' mistake. It would be my community's mistake. It would be quite catastrophic, and not just in my own mind, but in the minds of those close to me. I was also here at a time when there was an assumption that I didn't get in on my own merits. And that was really difficult because I was already feeling self-doubt, being very clear that I wasn't as prepared. And I wasn't as prepared because of my background. I wasn't as prepared because of the school district I attended. So I was one of the top students in my school district, but guess what? That's very different across the board. And so that was challenging as well, to have to prove to myself, to my community, my family, but also to students and sometimes professors who felt that maybe I didn't belong, that I didn't deserve to be there, that I was taking a seat of someone who had worked harder or had been better prepared as a result. But it wasn't lack of effort, it was lack of opportunity. I was also so grateful the first time that a student said to me, she came up to me after class and she said, I'm really embarrassed to say this, but you're the first professor I've had who looks like me. And this was before the first gen campaign. And I'm not a person who cries easily. I had to just said thank you, and I walked away, and I had to walk away and come back to her because I was a mess. Because she was right. I was trying to think back about my experience and who could I model. There weren't many at the time who I could say, oh, you understand that. You understand me. There's a little bit more of a connection just simply because of background. I really credit her with keeping me on course because I thought I could offer so much more than just the learning piece. Here's the textbook stuff, the research stuff, but here's also the really valuable relationship stuff that maybe I can help you have a little bit of a model for what you could become or aspire to be.